Welcome to Comcast Local Edition. I'm Alicia Menendez. I'm joined today by Steve Smith, an advocate and volunteer for the Arthritis Foundation in the Mid-Atlantic region. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And so I understand arthritis is a cause that is near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is, very much so.
Why is that?
My 18-year-old daughter has had arthritis for 16 years. And it's one of those things that people always say, well, kids can't get arthritis. But yeah, there's over 300,000 kids in this country diagnosed with a form of arthritis. So just getting the awareness out there and getting the disease treated is a very important part of our lives every day.
And so let's take your daughter as an example. How did you come to realize that she had arthritis?
Well, as a 2-year-old, usually they're running around, and she did. She ran around and enjoyed doing gymnastics, of all things, watching the Olympics back then. And all of a sudden, she quit doing it. Quit walking, started walking with a limp, couldn't get out of bed in the morning. And it actually took us 6 months to get it diagnosed because most pediatricians don't look for it. It was something that, it was a lot of trial and error and eliminating a lot of things before we found out she did indeed have juvenile rheumatoid arthritis.
And what's your advice to other parents who may be noticing this type of behavior with their own children?
Get them to the doctor and get them checked out. We've kind of joked as a part of the parents group now that most pediatricians maybe spend 30 minutes through medical school talking about arthritis, so it's not on their radar scope. So it's something you need to be paying attention to.
And now, you know, arthritis is one of those things you think grandma has it, it's something she complains about. But it's a big deal, and it can be a major disability. In fact, it's the #1 disability in the United States.
That's correct. #1 cause of physical disability, and it costs the government about $80–90 billion a year in lost revenue, lost wages, people not working. So it's a terrifying disease, and contrary to what you might see on TV, you just can't take a couple of pills and go back out and pitch 9 innings. It's a devastating disease, especially in children.
So tell me a little bit about the work that the Arthritis Foundation does.
The Arthritis Foundation is dedicated to helping people with arthritis. One of the big things we'll be doing here locally in May is the Arthritis Walk, and that's our big fundraiser. It's the signature event. May is National Arthritis Awareness Month, so we will have our local walk right here on the mall on the 15th. It's a great opportunity to come out, raise funds for the Arthritis Foundation, meet other people with arthritis. It's amazing how many people suffer with that disease and don't know other people that have it.
What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions about arthritis outside of who gets it?
I think it's the fact that it's like death and taxes. You're just going to get arthritis and there's nothing you can do about it. And that is just not correct. There's plenty you can do. The medications they have today, the treatments, the therapies, all extremely helpful. With a medication that my daughter's had now as an 18-year-old in high school, you probably wouldn't know she had arthritis just by the way she carries herself. So that's the biggest misconception, is that there's nothing you can do about it.
And when she says to people, I'm 18 and I have arthritis, what's their general response?
One, she doesn't say that. She's a typical 18-year-old. But people don't believe it. Kids can't get arthritis. That's an old person disease.
Yeah, and when she was younger, did you have to sort of tell her teachers, tell principal?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great thing about the Arthritis Foundation. They provided tons of documentation that you can use to educate teachers and educate educators. I'll use that term, because it's very difficult to go into a classroom, tell the teacher that this child can't sit on the floor, or she can't hold a pencil, or she can't walk up and down the stairs. They don't necessarily believe it initially, once they get educated and they understand, they're very helpful, but it is a long and painful process to make them understand.
So that's one element of awareness, sort of getting this message out to schools, to other people who may be dealing with this. When you think of awareness, what are some of the other steps you'd like to see forward?
The fact that the kids do get the disease. That's the biggest thing, because there are no drugs and medications that are designed for children with the disease. All the primary medications are designed for adults, and then doctors, scope them down to use them for the children, and getting the approvals for them, getting them covered with insurance, all popular topics today as it is, but just the awareness aspect that, yes, this does affect children, and it's a devastating disease, and it is slightly different than the adult version of arthritis, because it can get into their eyes, and it can get into nervous systems and actually kill children. People don't think of arthritis as a deadly disease.
Steve, thank you so much for joining us here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Very informative. If you want to learn more about what's going on in your community, you can click on Demand, Get Local. For Comcast Local Edition, I'm Alicia Menendez.